has the right or the power to make you unhappy. You have a right, you have a choice. It doesn't mean you're going to be happy all throughout the day. It doesn't mean every moment is happy. It means you know how to not let everybody else affect your mood. You don't want them to have that power over you. The only thing in life that we can control is how we respond to the stimuli that's given to us, good or bad. So just remember that we all have the power to wake up happy, to get happy, to stay happy, to be happy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So thank you so much for joining in. And I look forward to hearing the experiences that you all have by joining Miss Leanne in her room so you all can each wake up happy. So thank you all. See you all soon.
Bye, everybody.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leanne Dulce, and I'm a self-care strategist and your Chief Self-Love Officer at Wake Up Happy Sis. Today, I want to talk to you about the importance of Black women getting radical about their self-care and wellness in 2023. But let me back up a second and tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a longtime student of the wellness arts. I'm a certified natural and organic skincare formulator, a publisher, author, and an advocate for Black women's self-care and wellness. My passion is helping Black women get radical about their self-care so they can go from overwhelmed to overjoyed and wake up happy every day. In our chat today, I'm going to show you how to get radical about your self-care. We're going to define the acronym RADICAL as it pertains to your self-care, and then we're going to learn the benefits to Black women. And finally, I'm going to provide you with a few tips on how you can get radical about your wellness starting today. Did you know that only 2% of Black women say they practice self-care regularly, even though a whopping 78% say they feel a strong need to? This means that the majority of Black women are not taking care of themselves, even though they know they need to. And this is a huge problem. We're struggling and we're not taking the time to heal ourselves. We're putting everyone else's needs before our own, and as a result, we are suffering. Self-care is vitally important for Black women. We often take on the roles of mother, father, breadwinner, caretaker for our families, as well as being the emotional support for friends and loved ones. We rarely take time for ourselves, and when we do, we feel guilty. We think if we're not doing everything for everyone, then somehow we're not worthy of love. Now, we all know that Black women have historically been undervalued and unseen in society. We are often expected to be the strong Black woman who never shows weakness, the foundation who never runs out of energy, love, or positivity for everyone, and someone who sacrifices all for our family and our loved ones. This unrealistic expectation has led us to not taking care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even physically. Yes, we are the masters at putting the needs of others before our own, and we feel like we have to be superwoman for everyone in our lives and continue to put our needs last. Indeed, we're constantly giving to others and not taking the time to nurture and replenish ourselves. This ultimately leads us to burnout, resentment, and even depression. It causes us to feel guilty and anxious when we even think about doing something for ourselves. We're here walking around overwhelmed, stressed, and feeling unappreciated. Does that ring a bell? We have to learn to love ourselves first and foremost so that we can teach others how to love us properly. It's important for us to take time for ourselves to relax and recharge so that we can show up happy, healthy, and whole in our own lives. Now, I bet you thought I was going to say that we should take time for ourselves so that we can show up better in the lives of those who need us, but I certainly did not. I'm saying the exact opposite right now. I'm saying that we need to get radical about our own self-care. We need and deserve to take time to focus on our own self-care for us to be happy and whole. Because contrary to popular belief, it's not selfish to be happy, healed, and whole for yourself and for no one else's benefit. The outdated narrative that we have to be happy, healed, and whole so that we can be better wives, parents, bosses, employees, community members, is just another part of the guilt and trauma that has been laid upon us. I believed it just like I'm sure you probably do right now. This narrative perpetuates the lie that the needs and happiness of others should always take priority over our own. It tells us that our lives are only as important as the service that we give to others, and that line of thinking has to stop. Look, sis, it's time for us to make a change. It's time for us to put ourselves first and take care of ourselves. We deserve to be happy and to feel fulfilled. We deserve to love ourselves as we are nurturing our minds, bodies, and souls. Now I can hear you say, wait a minute, Leanne, you said something that caught me. Did you say we have to get radical about our self-care? What do you even mean by that? Yes, I said it and I meant it, boo. I mean that we have to take a more active and hands-on approach to our self-care and wellness. And when I say radical, I mean looking at self-care through a different lens, a more holistic lens, healing lens that takes our whole person into account. Now, self-care isn't just about taking walks and getting massages and having a relaxing bath with a glass of wine. Yes, those are all acts of self-care, but there's so much more to self-care than just the pretty and fun things. Self-care is about taking control of all aspects of our wellness and figuring out how to let go of the guilt and the anxiety that really has caused us to not take care of ourselves. Now, in my signature radical self-care blueprint, I define radical as a set of principles for how we govern ourselves in relation to our self-care and wellness. The R stands for release. And that means we commit to releasing ourselves from the guilt and trauma of putting everyone else's needs before our own. We release ourselves from the need to people please and to be everything to everyone. A is for acknowledge. We acknowledge that we are worthy of love, happiness, and relaxation just for ourselves with no strings attached. The D stands for declutter. And in order to design a life that we love, we must declutter our minds, bodies, and spirits of anything that doesn't serve us or make us happy. I is for invest. We're investing time, energy, and money into activities, experiences, and people that make us happy and help us relax and recharge. And that includes creating a self-care plan that works for us as individuals. The C is for connect. We're going to connect with trustworthy people who hold space for us and help us, whether it be friends, family, therapists, or even a support group. A is for attentive. I want you to be attentive to your needs and make sure that you're scheduling time for yourself. Do a body scan to help you determine what you need in this specific moment. And finally, the L stands for love. We have to love who we are through our healing and growth journey. Now, there's going to be times when it's hard, when it's ugly, when it's painful. But when you make it to that other side and you are happy, healed, and whole, baby, it is so beautiful and it is worth all the effort. Now, sometimes, yes, we are reluctant to take time for ourselves because we feel like we're abandoning our families. How are they going to get by if we're not there to manage and oversee everything? Look, sis, that's just not true. The truth is we have to show up for ourselves first before we can even think of showing up for anyone else. And it's okay for you to do for yourself without having to worry about it benefiting others. Because you know what? When you take care of yourself and you love yourself, everyone around you is going to benefit because love attracts love. Now let's talk a little bit about the benefits of self-care. Now, we already know that as Black women, we bear the brunt of emotional labor in our families and communities, but self-care really is a way for us to recharge and take a break from the stresses of daily life. It can help us manage our emotions, which leads to improved mental health. And it's been shown that Black women who engage in self-care are more likely to have better relationships, they have improved productivity and creativity, and they're going to see an improvement in their self-esteem and their confidence. And finally, self-care helps us connect with our inner selves, with our feminine being. It's going to lead us to a greater sense of peace and calm. In short, it's an acknowledgement of our worthiness and commitment to taking care of ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. Now let's get to these tips that I talked to you about. My approach to self-care includes kind of a three-way approach: engaging your mind, treating your body, and nourishing your soul. When you engage your mind, look, your mindset is where it starts. You got to get your mind right. So first, you have to believe that self-care is your right. It isn't a privilege and it isn't selfish. Two, you're going to practice meditation, because that's a great way to calm your mind and ease any anxieties. And you're going to seek professional help. If you're struggling with depression and anxiety and other mental issues, I know it's taboo in our community oftentimes, but a therapist is going to help you with the tools and the support that you need to manage your health in a healthy and productive way. And then treat your body. Now, these are things you already know. Get enough sleep, feed your body right inside and out with nourishing food and skincare products, and get up and move that body a little bit. And finally, nourish your soul. The first thing I always tell people is practice gratitude, because that is an instant boost to your mood. Every day, take a few minutes and write down 3 things that you're grateful for. You want to take breaks when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed. Go outside and take a short walk, relax and rejuvenate your spirit. And finally, find a supportive sisterhood community like my Sister Circle, because it's important to surround yourself with positive people who are going to encourage you on your healing journey. And I want to thank you for your time today. And if you want to learn more about radical self-care and wellness, visit me at wakeuphappysis.com and join our sisterhood community. Thank you, and have a wonderful and blessed day. Hello, everybody. I'm Leanne Dulce, and today we're going to talk about stress and stress management. So let's dig into a little bit of our objectives and what we're going to do. We're going to talk about our objectives. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, and we're going to talk about engaging your mind in stress management as it relates to your self-care and wellness. Then I'm going to give you a little bit of homework, and we're going to round it out, as I like to do any sessions that I do, with a really short meditation. So what are our objectives today? Coming out of this, I want you to be able to start filling your self-care toolkit with first a renewed mindset, but also some tools that are going to help you start from some meaningful self-care routines that fit into your lifestyle. Today, we're going to be talking about stress. So those tools will be around stress management. I want to help you alleviate some of the guilt and stress that's associated with taking time away from your responsibilities to care for yourself, because you should never feel guilty about that. And I want you to understand and implement no as a complete sentence. That is one of our stress relievers. Realize that you do have time for self-care, and I want you to come out with a clear understanding. What are your thoughts and feelings when you think about self-care? I want you to learn what your normal self-care routines are and are not, and what are your stress management practices. Now, just who am I? I'm just your regular, average day self-care advocate, a self-care strategist. I've been a student of the wellness arts for over 15 years, meaning I've either tried it, studied it, taught it. Wellness is just a part of who I am. I was also a publisher. I published the first lifestyle magazine for Black women with natural hair. It was called Natural Roots. And I'm a passionate advocate for women's self-care and wellness. Now, I live what I talk about, what I teach, what I embody, because I used to be that overwhelmed, overworked, overweight, morbidly obese woman, right? Who tried to people please everybody, who just wasn't happy. And I had to figure out what made me happy and how I could heal some of my past traumas. And stress management was a major factor. And I still use these practices today. So first, we're going to talk about mindset. Why is self-care important? And what are some of the challenges surrounding your self-care? Now, when we talk about why self-care is important because it's going to help you put yourself as a priority in your own life. It's what's going to keep you happy. It's what's going to keep you whole, and it's what's going to help you heal. You have to be mindful that in today's society, trying to put a focus on yourself is sometimes looked down on. It's selfish. You're supposed to focus on others before you focus on yourself. That's just not true. If you're not loving and taking care of yourself, how are you expected and supposed to be able to do that for someone else if you can't even do it for yourself? Now, we all have challenges when it comes to our self-care. I've heard and probably said all of them. We don't have time in our busy day. Self-care does not have to take a long time. It can take as little as 5-10 minutes a day. Get up, get out, walk, right? Meditate when you wake up. Write a gratitude journal. These are all things that can radically help you improve your self-care. And you feel guilty. Now, I know this what used to be my big thing, feeling guilty when I even thought about wanting to take time away from my family and my other obligations, career, community, otherwise. We're taught that we always have to put everybody in front of ourselves. We're not supposed to want anything for ourselves because it's seen as selfish. But we have to let go of that guilt that surrounds us taking care of ourselves. And you have to want to take care of yourself for your own good, not for anybody else, not to please and not to help anybody else, but because you want to be here for a long time. You want to be happy, healed, and whole for yourself. Now, we all know about that strong Black woman syndrome, right? We're supposed to never show weakness. We're supposed to always be happy because we can't be the bitter Black woman. We're supposed to put everybody else first. We're supposed to put on our cape and be superwoman for everybody. But who helps us? Sometimes being that strong Black woman means saying no, taking a step back. And we don't know what to do for self-care. Self-care is such a personal thing. And you can really think out of the box when it comes to your self-care. It might be writing in a journal. It might be running. It might be going to one of those smash rooms and getting your aggression out. It's personal to you. No one can tell you what your self-care looks like. We're often overwhelmed and stressed out because we're pouring from an empty cup. And lastly, we have too many things that got to be done today. It's okay. You don't have to do it today. It'll still be there tomorrow. It's important that you take time to reset and replenish yourself. So let's make sure we're doing that instead of giving ourselves reasons to not take care of ourselves. Now, I want you to take a moment and pause and think about this and write these down if you have a pen and paper. When you think about self-care, what thoughts and feelings does it bring up for you? What does it mean to be a strong Black woman to you? And what are your top 5 priorities in your life right now and why? Those are going to be important to you as you kind of build out your self-care plans, as you determine what self-care looks like for you. Now let's get to the meat. Let's talk about stress, baby. Stress is any physical, mental, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension, okay? Now these factors can be external or they can be internal. Now, one thing that I want to say that people really don't think about is stress isn't always harmful, and it's not even always negative. There's a concept of eustress versus distress, and we'll talk about that on the next slide. Stress also activates, oh, no, we don't. Stress also activates our fight or flight response in our bodies. And the difference in whether it's good stress or bad stress is the resulting energy that's produced by the stimuli that we are given. Now, whether a person experiences distress or eustress in a situation mainly depends on their perception of themselves and what is stressing them. Do I see this as a threat? Do I see this as a negative? Or maybe do I see it as a challenge? Sometimes shifting your mindset and how you see a stimulus that's coming towards you can totally change that stress from bad stress to good stress. Now, let's talk a little bit about eustress, which is good stress, and distress, which is negative stress. Eustress is a healthy form of short-term, which is acute stress, that gives us positive, energized feelings and makes us feel good about yourself. Now, I'm sure most of you have never even heard of the term eustress. And it is more of a relatively newer concept in the stress space. The prefix of the word EU is Greek, and it stands for well or good. Now, when a person feels confident in their ability to overcome a stressor, that's when they're more likely to experience eustress. Now, this positive assessment of that stressor, that stimulus that's coming into you, it helps them channel their energy provided by the fight or flight response that helps them work towards a solution. So the flight might be more moving towards the distress side. Your fight is, okay, I'm energized by this. I see it as a challenge, and I feel confident that I can do it. I may have to dig a little bit. It might not be easy, but I know I got this. That's when you get that exhilaration. So people who conquer their fears, and let's say you had a fear of heights and you went skydiving, you might get that rush of adrenaline, that fear, but you channel that fear into that jump. And all of a sudden, all of that stress melts away, and you're left with such a positive and happy feeling that you conquered something, right? Now, conversely, let's talk about distress. Let me check my time. Let's talk about distress. Distress is what most people commonly think of when they think of the word stress. Most people will never think of eustress, which is positive stress. They're always going to think of distress. And it's the adverse reaction that people have to excessive pressures or other types of demands that are placed on them. Now, we have three different main types, right? You have acute stress, which is very short-term type of stress, and it can be either positive or it can be more distressing. And this is the type of stress we most often come to in our day-to-day life. Traffic. I'm stuck in traffic, I'm stressed. I've got a presentation that's due in 15 minutes and I'm just not done. I'm not feeling confident that I'm going to get done. I got this new assignment and I just have some fear that I really don't know what I'm doing. Things are stressing me out. That's going to be followed by chronic stress. Now, chronic stress is a stress that kind of just seems never ending. It's inescapable, like a bad marriage, an extremely taxing job. And I think most of us can relate to the taxing job part, where you've got a manager or coworkers that just seem to make your life miserable. But you can't quit because you need that job. You need that money, right? You need the stability to support yourself and your family. But it can also be things like childhood trauma that is turned into parts of our personality traits, but it just seems like the world is never ending and constantly throwing us a barrage of things, right? A barrage of negativity. Now, then you have episodic acute stress. And think of it like chronic stress on steroids, right? It's when stress just seems to run rampant and it's now a way of life. You literally see no way out, right? And who wants to live in a life of ongoing stress? You just literally feel like there's no way out. With chronic stress, a bad marriage, I can eventually leave that marriage. A bad job, I can leave that job. Childhood trauma, I can talk to a therapist. But when you have that episodic acute stress, it is just a part of your daily existence. You think everything in your world is wrong, is negative, there's never an end, and you don't see a way out. And this is usually where you'll find people who contemplate suicide. The world would be a better place without me because I just have no worth. I have, everything's wrong in my life. I hurt everybody. Those are the kind of things when you have that episodic acute stress. And those require a lot more support and therapy to make sure that you're getting the help that you need. Now, let's talk about how do we cope with distress. Now, what I say is we're all very fortunate that we can successfully manage or even banish a lot of these stressful feelings by developing our own repertoire and methods to combat this stress, right? First, you want to start out by asking yourself a few questions whenever you start to feel stressed. One, identify what the stress is. What is that major cause of my stress in this moment? Identify why this specific issue has you feeling stressed, anxious, and/or overwhelmed or worried. Why am I feeling this way? And sometimes you have to dig deep, and this second one may take a little bit of time to get to the root, but you really want to get to the root of why you're feeling stressed and anxious and overwhelmed. And then, where is my focus? Is it on the problem or is it on the solution? I strongly believe, and I practice, that what we focus on is what manifests in our lives. So when you're focusing more on the problem, you're bringing more stress and negativity into your space. Instead, let's try to focus on being solution-oriented. That's going to help us to really understand what's going on, what we can do to resolve the stress. And then determine what the happy, healthy, and lasting resolution would be. And how is that going to feel when you resolve this issue in this situation? We're going to then understand who you can turn to for help, right? Is it family? Is it friends? Or is it professional support? Do not go into this alone. There's always somebody there to reach out. And if your friends and family cannot support you on that level, please seek professional support. They are here to help us. There's no stigma in getting professional help. And figure out what you can do right now in this moment that will help relieve that stress, resolve the underlying issue that's causing the stress, partially or fully, because sometimes you can't resolve everything right now in this moment, but there might be something that you can do to help relieve a little bit of that stress? Can we plan a little bit? Can I talk to somebody? Can I run and figure out a way to get this aggression out of my system? Now, what do you do to relieve stress? This is my favorite part of the session because we get to talk a little bit about stress relief strategies. Having an arsenal of stress relief practices is an important way to help relieve stress at work, at home. And I want to give you some ways that you can kind of fill your self-care toolkit with some stress relieving practices. My first thing, and this is for me because I'm a very kind of logical and methodical person. And if you're like me and you need that more methodical approach, then get yourself some stress relief worksheets. And we have some over at wakeuphappysis.com. These things can be very helpful because they help you identify actionable steps to improve that situation. They're going to help you address the root cause of the stress. Now, because again, we have to get down to what the root cause is. A lot of times we're focused on symptoms and we haven't really got down to the root cause of what's giving us stress. And it's going to help you find meaning in difficult and stressful situations and focusing on the positive aspects of the situation that are within your control. Because there's always something positive within our control if we look hard enough. We can't always control every aspect, but we can control how we respond and react to it. And there is something positive in every situation. We just have to dig a little deeper sometimes. Second, it's so important that we show ourselves love and self-compassion. A lot of times we have so much compassion for everybody else, but when it comes to ourselves, we don't give ourselves grace, right? We don't want to give ourselves grace and say, you know what, I've been working really hard. Maybe I need some time to myself, and that's why I'm feeling stressed because I'm keep taking on more and more responsibility, more and more options. I haven't said no. But you know what? Today I need to say no. Now, being our own worst critics, I know I am. Are you? But when you're your own worst critic, you can get really down on ourselves for making a little mistake. But I need you to speak love and light and positivity into yourself at all times. Make sure you're reaching out to your support system or a professional for help. Again, there's no stigma with it. Support groups and support systems. Your support system may be your family, your friends, maybe your church, right? You may go to an actual physical support group and you may have your own therapist. They're all great ways, and you can have all three at the same time. That is the beauty of it. It's not a one size fits all, and they're going to help you work through your problems. You can also use relaxation techniques to help you regulate stress in the moment. Physical activity, we all know that's a great way as an outlet for stress. I love going to those smash rooms because literally you can get out so much anger and aggression and you come out feeling renewed and replenished. And use mindful meditation to get out of your own head. Meditation helps. The practice, even just the practice of meditation, is going to help calm you. It's going to help regulate your mood. And it can also just help quiet the noise that we sometimes have in our head. And that's so important for us. Now let's talk a little bit about mindful meditative breathing, because this is one key relaxation technique that you can always go to and doesn't have to take a lot of time. It can take 1 minute to help center, ground, and bring yourself back from that place of stress, from an unhappy space. Now, mindful breathing is a very basic but powerful meditation practice. The idea is that you're simply going to focus your attention on your breathing, to its natural rhythm and flow, and the way it feels on each inhale and exhale. You can make this meditation a part of your everyday life, so when your stress levels start to rise, you can regain your composure almost effortlessly. And as you practice your meditation techniques, you'll be able to do it without anybody even noticing. You can do it on a bus. You can do it at your desk. You can do it in the middle of Grand Central Station if you want to. And it's going to make you calmer, more focused, and help release stress in any situation. Now, some of the other benefits, it's going to help you manage stress and eliminate anxiety. It's going to enhance your learning and memory retention because it's allowing you to, you're learning to focus on a singular thing and blocking everything out. I love this next one because it can really help you put a stop to pessimistic thinking. We all have what they say, you have millions of ideas and thoughts that cross your mind. So obviously there's going to be a lot of negative ones in there. But when you have a mindful meditative breathing practice, you can help stop those things because you know how to recalm, regain your center and your focus at any time. It's going to help build your mental capacity, focus, and accuracy. It's going to help you better regulate your body's reaction to pain, stress, and fatigue. And when I tell you this works, when I have pain, I suffer from back pain, and I will literally breathe and focus that breathing energy into the spot where the pain is. And it really can help you reduce and relieve stress and pain. It's going to help tame negative emotions because you are going to be more aware of your body, your mind, your emotions, and your reactions to the stimuli coming into you. It's going to help you create fulfilling relationships because you're not going to be so snappy at people. What do you want? What's going on? You're not going to have that because you always know how to go back to center, right? And you're going to help you tap into your creative side because it's going to put you in control. And obviously, when you're less stressed, what is that going to give you? Less possibility of burnout. So you're going to be more productive on your job. You're going to have happier relationships with yourself and with others. And you're going to know how to get back to happy. That's super important. Now, it's homework time. A couple of things that I want you to do. I want you to create a morning ritual that helps you get focused, charges up your energy, and starts your day off with a bang. Right? And in that morning ritual, put in some of the stress relieving strategies that we talked about, right? Meditative breathing, 1 minute, 5 minutes each day, each morning will help you calm, center, refocus, shed the energy of the night before, and start your day off beautifully. And then I want you to try that morning ritual tomorrow. And you can hit me at Dulce and Lay on Instagram and even tell me how your ritual went. I want you to choose an affirmation and put it on your mirror. One that relates to you not being stressed. One that relates to you being happy, healed, and whole. Put it on your mirror, on your refrigerator, on the wall, and every time you pass it, stop, do a 1 minute mindful breathing, and meditate on that affirmation. And then I want you to get up and move your body for at least 5 minutes. Meditation and yoga go hand in hand, baby. And just try some basic yoga poses. You don't have to be super flexible, bendy. That'll come in time. Now I want to round us out with a 1 minute meditation. This relaxation strategy is going to take us, obviously, like I said, less than 1 minute. And if you'd like to give it a try, please join me. You're going to start by sitting in a very comfortable position. You can close your eyes, but it's not required. Excuse me. I just have found that for me, when I'm trying to focus and clear everything out, it's easier for me if I close my eyes. So we're going to begin by taking a deep breath and hold it in for 5 seconds. Now slowly exhale and relax, allowing your body to completely relax into the space. Take another deep breath, as deep as you can, and hold it for 5 seconds. Now this time as you exhale, imagine blowing out all of your stress, all of your worries, all of the negativity. And we're going to take a third deep breath, hold it, now as you exhale, blow out any last bits of that stress. And I want you to repeat to yourself, you can relax now. Now open your eyes, and you've completed your first mindful meditation. Now, whenever you become stressed, just stop and take in those 3 full deep breaths. And on each exhale, I want you to let go of a little more stress, a little more negativity, a little more toxicity. Make sure at the end that you tell yourself you can relax now. Because you're not just directing, you're not just saying it to say it. You're giving your body a directive, and your body is going to listen. Now, hopefully, after completing that, you felt really good and a little bit of renewal. Whenever I do that, and again, I do this every morning, every single morning, but whenever I do it, I just feel better, because on each release, I literally go like this. And I relax myself. I just let go. I turn into a wet noodle. Now, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. And if you want some help to get started on your building your self-care toolkit and to learn more about Dulce and Lay and Wake Up Happy Sis and our movement here, then I want you to get this Success Kit. It's your self-care toolkit, and it's 28 pages full of awesome self-care goodness, if I do say so myself. Now, this document could easily be selling for $100, but I'm selling it to you for $17 because I want you to have it in your arsenal. And it goes over more than what we've talked about today. Now, what you're going to get, we're going to learn about 6 of the 8 dimensions of self-care. We're going to give you affirmations based on each of those 6 dimensions. You get self-care activities that are by dimension and some daily reflective journaling. Now, you're also going to create that morning ritual. And what does your morning flow look like? You're going to have affirmations and loving touch worksheet. So just make sure that you go on over to myselfcaretoolkit.com and you go ahead and get yourself some of this goodness, baby. myselfcaretoolkit.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.
All right. Hello, everyone. It is Dr. Stephanie Wall here. I am here with Mary H. Davis. Baby, her thing says Women's Level Up Network. All right. So, Mary, tell the people what you do and who you serve, and more importantly, how do you help women to succeed, or people?
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah. So my name is Mary H. Davis, as you stated, and I am a confidence and leadership coach. I am the chairwoman of Women's Level Up Network. And what I do, I have one mission and one mission only, and that's to help women all over the world step into it. Just step into it. Step into their passion, step into their dreams, step boldly into their careers, step boldly into entrepreneurship, step into their wealth aspiration. Whatever it is, I have the strategy and the confidence to help them step into it.
How do you help, Mary? You know I'm loving this because I live to help women to boldly stop hiding behind their old selves. So you in my lane, and I'm loving that. Tell me this: how do you help these women to step boldly?
Well, one of the ways that I do that is I help them build confidence. You know, I like to think that I was a very confident person, but what I've realized is that I wasn't as confident as I thought I was. Even for me, I'm more confident than most people, but we lack the confidence to step into it because we are conditioned either from birth, through social norms. We are conditioned, especially women of color. So I help them with their confidence, and I have a leadership academy. So we work on building the confidence, and what that is, I help them get to from where they are to where they want to be. I was an executive of one of the world's largest financial institution, $11.9 trillion, and I helped them. I told them what to say, when to say it, how to say it, you name it, I did it. And I've taken that skills and transferred that to my coaching programs. And that's how I help women step into it. Because a lot of times I was the only one. And a lot of us are used to this, being the only woman of color. But I learned to master that. And I have now do that with the women that work with me.
That is powerful. That is powerful. And you're talking about imposter syndrome. So you deal with a lot of that with your clients. So let me ask you this. What is the title of your keynote?
The title of my keynote is Confidence. No, it's Success Has an Odor. It's confidence.
Ooh, is anybody besides me like, ooh?
Success has an odor. I'm like Deion Sanders.
Come on.
Like I walk because I'm confident. I say what I say because I'm confident.
And what's the kind of cologne you have on? Confidence.
Confidence. I don't even wear Chanel. I got no Chanel earrings, but I don't wear Chanel, Dolce & Gabbana, any of that. Confidence is my natural odor.
Come on, somebody. I love that. Mary, you got the people fired up. As soon as you said that, I was with you 10 times and twice on Sunday.
Confidence is underrated. Confidence is underrated, and a lot of people think they have it, but they don't. One of the biggest obstacles that I had to overcome was 10x in my confidence, because I was already confident, but to move to new places that you've never gone, you have to move boldly with a lot of confidence to do what you've never done.
New places require a new version of yourself. I love it. I love it. All right, you all. When you come back on, what in the next voice that you're going to hear is Mary. Look, Mary H. Davis. Mary H. Davis is going to give you the business, because really we're going to call her Mary Confidence Davis. Come on, baby. Come on. I can't wait to learn more. You better jump on in. Don't miss this.
Hey, 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 hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the confidence room, where confidence is built and it happens. Whoa, y'all smell that? We got smell-o-vision up in here. You can smell it through the stream. Wait a minute. What is that smell? That is the sweet smell of success. And I want to talk to you today about confidence, the natural odor of success. Every time I think about my dreams and I'm working on my aspirations, every time I feel stuck, I do that self-talk to myself and think about what I learned from my college professor during my freshman year. It was a quote by William H. Johnson. If it is to be, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. Put it in the chat. Me, 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 me. If it is to be, it's up to me. I see you. Me, 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 me. This quote and this self-talk gives me confidence to move forward. That's why I always say and chant that quote when I get stuck. I am Mary H. Davis, retired executive from one of the world's largest financial institutions, confidence and leadership coach, chairwoman of Women's Level Up Network, and founder of Mary H. Davis Coaching and Own the Leader Within Academy. Excuse me. My mission, and I'm here today, is one mission and one mission only. I empower women to break out and step into it. That's right. Step into it. Step into your dreams. Step into their passions. Step boldly into their careers. Step into entrepreneurship. Step into their wealth aspirations. Whatever that is, I help them, empower them to step into it. And I just want to share, there are two transformational things that I learned as I was in my career and helping women to step into it. The first thing is, in order to break out, you have to, in order to step into it, you have to first break out. Did you get that? To step into it, you got to first break out. You have to break out to step in, and it takes big, bold, audacious confidence to do that. I came to realize that a lot of people who think they have confidence really do not have as much confidence as they think. That's why I like this quote from Michelle Obama. Your success will be determined by your own confidence and fortitude. So if you're not where you think you should be, check your confidence. Check your confidence. The second thing that I learned is success has an odor to it. I know you've heard that before, but I've heard that and I really appreciate it now. When you have success, you move differently. Success has an odor to it. I'm telling you, and it's really factual. Let's break it down. Look at the definition of odor. Oxford says a lingering quality. Merriam-Webster says a characteristic or predominant quality. Think of all of the successful individuals that you may know. They all have a predominant quality about them. Denzel Washington, that swag that you see, that's confidence. Oprah Winfrey, you get a car, you get a car. Look where she came from. Confidence got her there. That odor. LeBron James, he says what he says, do what he do because he's confident. My man, Deion Sanders, confidence. He said that you got to know that you know that you know. Serena Williams, she could put on that tiger suit and play because confidence. Beyonce, you can't break my soul. That's confidence. Confidence is the natural odor of success. Rosalind Carter, former First Lady, said, you have to have confidence and your ability, and then the toughness to follow through. It's true what Dion said. Prime Time said it best. They're gonna think that it's arrogant. They're gonna call it bitchiness or whatever they want to call you, but you're gonna call it confidence, because you gotta know that you know that you know what you're doing, and you gotta call it confidence and move like that. Here are a couple of other things that I learned when you're walking in confidence. And I learned that I did all of the things that everybody told me to do. All of the things, you know, the things, and I still felt stuck. I did all of the things that they told me to do. I went to college, got a BS degree, master's degree, leadership, you name it. I got several certifications. I got the good job, been there 30 plus years or whatever. I did all of the things that they told me to do. I worked hard, went in every day. You name it, I did it. I got it. I checked the box of what it takes or what they told me it took to be successful. But yet and still, after getting the degrees, the certification, the job, and working hard, I made some success, made well over 6 figures, multiple 6 figures. My bonuses were 6 figures. But I still felt like there has got to be more and not fulfilled. And what I learned was that there was so much that they did not tell me as I was navigating my career. I realized that there was more to it that I needed and that they didn't share with me. They didn't tell me about the excessive work hours, the pay inequities, and the diversity challenge. I worked 70, 80 hours per week. And one of the things that I realized is that I outperformed my peers 3 to 4 times. I was outperforming them, but yet they made more than me. And how do I know this? Because I had a gentleman pull me aside, white gentleman at that, was the best boss I ever had. He said, I can understand how you got here. I'm going to help you this one time. And from here on out, you're on your own. I got the biggest bump I ever got. Forget about 6 figures. Let's talk about multiple 6 figures. I'm like, you don't have to tell me twice. I got it from there. All of the things that they didn't teach you about, mom and them didn't tell you about. So let me tell you a little bit more about my story. Like I told you, I work for one of the world's largest financial institutions. That organization was 11.9 trillion in asset. I say that because the quantifying it makes it real. That speaks to the magnitude of it all. And what I did for that organization, I like to say, like the puppet master. I told them what to do, how to say it, how to fix it, and how to serve it up so that they can keep it going. I was the fixer. If there was a problem, they dropped me in the middle of it and I would assess and I would fix it. I started doing what it took to get in, fit in to get in. And I thought from there that I would be able to change the game, to make a difference. But the excessive hours took a toll on me. I had to even schedule a bathroom break. I scheduled my meetings for 50 minutes so I could have a 10-minute bathroom break between meetings. I went without eating many days. All of that started to take a toll on me. And I was slowly but surely losing just a little bit of my identity. Can we say identity in the chat? Then I started feeling sick and tired. I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And I was having this conversation with my brother. I have 5 brothers. And one of them said, you are making a lot of money, but they're pimping you. And I'm like, did he just say that? Yes, he did. And that's when I realized what Oprah said. You got to step out of the history that is holding you back. But I like to change it just a little from what Oprah said. You got to break out to step in, because it is like being in bondage. You got to break out from what mama and them told you. You got to break out from what other people are projecting on you. You got to break out of the lies that you tell yourself. Break out from dealing with being treated less than. Break out from getting paid less than what you're worth. Clearly, you deserve more. That's what happened to me in 2020. I broke out. COVID gave me plenty of time to think about the things and what I was doing and to take action. During 2020 was a rough year for all of us. You know, COVID happened, but I also lost my grandmother during that time. While it's sad, but something good came out of it, because I remember what my grandmother taught me. During COVID, she and I did a 30-day devotional, Joel Osteen 30-day devotional. And you know what I did at the end of that 30 days? I signed my first lease on my office space. Yes, I did. Didn't have my organization set up, didn't quite know what I was going to do, but I knew I was breaking out. And I told myself, if I'm good enough to do it for an organization that's 11.9 trillion in asset, I know darn well I can do it for myself. That's what I learned in 2020. 2020 was my breakout year, and where I started to step into who I really am. And that's what I want to do for other people. Step into your purpose. Step into my identity. I boldly stepped into my own business. Step into entrepreneurship. Oprah Winfrey said it best. Step into the story, the new story you are willing to create. But before you step in, you got to know how to step in. You don't just get there. You need to build that confidence. And I want to share 3 strategies with you. 1, 2, 3 strategies that will start you to 10x your confidence so that you can step into it. Strategy number 1, know your worth. I mentioned to you, I work for an organization that was over 11 trillion in assets, the complexity of it. You need to be able to qualify, quantify what you do, and to have discussions about it. So strategy number 2, social capital. You need to start building social capital instead of just simply networking. Networking is getting the name. Social capital is strong relationships. Social capital gives you access to people, access to information. And then last but not least, you need to understand the pivoting process so that you can pivot from where you are to where you want to be. That's right, I said it. Did you catch what I said? Pick up what I'm dropping down. Pivot is a process, not an event. And you need to understand how to navigate through that process to build the confidence that you need, to have the swagger that you need, because confidence is the odor of success. And what I want to share with you is a free gift so that you can start building the confidence that you need. Go to freegiftmaryhdavis.com and get your free gift to start building your confidence instantly.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fam. I am as Missy Bellamy over at Temple Health, Eating to Live Life. And I'm here to connect with you again from the other year to this year about how to eat to live life and how the foods that we eat combat everything that is detrimental to our life. But first, we have to start with what we eat. And what we eat with this, right? This is what we eat, our mouth. Our mouth is first line of defense. And when we eat these things that are healthy or unhealthy, it get all jumped up in here. And the best line of defense is what they always say. Brush your teeth, change your toothbrush every 3 months, floss and all that good stuff. And gargle, definitely this is a good one. But the thing about when we eat those things and we put those things on our skin and in our mouths, especially in our mouths. One of the most important things is that we need to make sure we floss, we gargle, we brush. Now, be honest, no one eats and nobody flushes and flosses their teeth every time they eat. So you have to remember that it's always good to wait at least 30 minutes before. And the reason why I'm saying that how important it is because the things we put in our mouth, like gargle, has a lot of things that are in there. And a lot of times we don't take the time to look at the ingredients. Now, this is a healthy type of mouthwash. It costs about $9 in any health food store. And so when you look for this symbol right here that has the butterfly, non-GMO, that's what you want to count on. Now, the reason why I say that also too, because the chemicals that's in things that you don't even realize will start destroying us. So even at the title, as I say, are you eating it or is it beating you? Now, when you start looking at some of the labels and some of the things you're eating, even some of the things that you're in the cabinet, you want to always look for this here. This is the nutritional facts, and it tells you everything's in here. The sodium, the salt, the sugars, and all the things. And when you get down here, it tells you all the other things that's mixed in there. And the things that we don't even look for is that this thing right here at the bottom where it says contains a biochemical engineering ingredient. And that's what makes us sick. And this is what we go to when we're sick. And of course, I know the foods taste good. I know. But this is what we end up eating. These things we get at the store. And they say, even some of the ones you see here and the ones that aren't here, those things are detrimental. And they have the same thing, as I said, contains bioengineering food ingredients. And those things start destroying your cells and molecules. And you're going to have to take these medications. This you're going to have to start taking. But guess what? God already have a better medication for us besides laughter and sleep and all the great things that God has given us. These things are also healthy. These are medicines. Believe it or not, the flavonoids, the vitamin C, the vitamin A in these things, they are so healthy. And when we put it in our everyday diet, it's such a huge impact. And it will keep from having to go to the doctor, keep from having to be an ER junkie like this one here, this one. Yes, I was an ER junkie and I was a surgical technologist. And even though I had the knowledge, I still didn't apply it. And I still kept going to the ER. So you can change this for a Fitbit and then just keep growing and growing and learning more and more. And I will teach you that on the next segment. But when you begin to eat those things, you'll begin to eat these kind of things. These are earthen foods. So sometimes if you can't get the fresh ones, you can get the canned ones, but you still got to look at this sodium because sodium, to be honest, when it comes to the amount, 2,300 milligrams is how much is really for all adults. But we go over it a lot of times with this breakfast, lunch, and dinner and in between. And that's where we get messed up at. And then you're going to have to go to this. Again, I'm telling you, fam, you're going to get this when I teach you. When I teach you, you have to go back to the Miralax and all the other Pepsid ACs and ADs and all those things that help combat the stomach. But the stomach is so important to make sure we take care of. All the cultures in there and the things that we need to do to make sure it's on point. That's what we need to work on. And I know we're in a hurry and the drive-through is easy and fast. And, I get it. You don't have time, but you have to make time or you're going to run out of time. And we don't want to run out of time. God has many, many things for you to do. Lots of work for you to do. He has stored things and stirred great things in you, the talents, the gifts, the shares, all those things in there that are in you. But it's hard to do it if you're constantly in the ER, at the doctor's office, at the clinic, at the therapist. These are all mine. It's 50 of them plus. And after I went through some trials and tribulations and hearing the voice of God, I learned that his medicine is best because the Bible says the earth is the Lord's and his fullness thereof. So these things grow out of God's garden. Eat them in their natural state. And I know even some people, they have the fruits and vegetables and they slice them and dice them. But then when they do their salads and they do other things, which is good to eat, but it's what you put in the salads, what you put in the vegetables when you stew in them. So using meat products, pork and, different things like that, I like those type of things, but it's not healthy. And when we get to a mindset that we are learning how to come to eat, to live life in a combative state, fight to eat, to live life, you'll be on Skate Street. And that pleases the Lord. And you can do all those great things that he's stirring up in you. All those great things. Because the doctor gonna be checking your heart, you're gonna be checking your stomach, you're gonna be checking all these different things, and you'll have less and less visits when you eat to live life. God says you are the apple of his eye. It says it in Psalms. You are the apple of his eye. And he wants you to shine, Jewel. He wants you to do that. But in order to do that, we have to eat to live life. And I know people say, oh, that's rabbit food. Oh, that's nasty, nasty, nasty. Who said medicine's supposed to taste good? Medicine may not taste good, but it is good for you. Hamburgers and French fries and all those things, you eat them every day. All that stuff builds up into your intestines. And that's what we're going to talk about on the other projects. So make sure you stay tuned. Okay, it's very important. You can see the continuation. Make sure you bring your notebook, and it's very important to stay on task and stay on course, because I'll help you guide you through the 50-day, the 100-day, 150-day course, so that you can be on the winning side. And that's what God wants, us to be on the winning side, his winning side, so that you can minimize all these visits. Don't be an ER queen, ER king like I was. We want to make sure we eat to live life, because he is our king and we want to serve him wholeheartedly. So I want you to also check this out. Now, we all go to the gas station, right? Okay. All right. So whether you drive a van, if you drive a low rider, or you drive a fast car, we know what kind of gas you need, right? So if you driving this and you put that 93 and you're supposed to put 87, guess where you're going to end up at? You're going to end up going to the shop. This shop is going to have to take care of the engine. It's going to break everything down, build it back up, and they say, oh, it's about 200, or not 200, it might be 1,500. It might be, it's way out your budget. Now you got to decide how much that's going to cost. Do I have enough money? And if you don't have a budget, well, you're going to have to dig in and find somebody to give you some money. Now you got to prepare. Now you're out of a vehicle. You have to borrow and beg for somebody to come get you, or the Uber, whatever you want to call it. And so with all that, it causes all that stress in the family. Somebody got to get another job. Somebody got to cut back on some things. So now you're obligated to do some things that are a little bit out of sequence that you weren't used to. What if we eat to live life? And even if it's too much for the groceries, then you can get your own seeds and put it in your own garden. You can have it right in your window. You can have it outside. You can have it in your garage, wherever you want to put your garden. That's what you can have. And those things will help build up your life, build up, and then extend your family so that God can breathe on your generation and not blow on it. So I want you to remember, this is Mr. Bellamy. I am here to guide you and direct you where you need to go. Remember to always check your menu. This is your menu. Remember, your menu tells you what's in it. And if you don't read it intently and check everything, then it's going to cause some damage. And here you're going to end up having these medications, because believe it or not, this costs money too. All these are our medications, just so you know. We no longer take those medications because we learn to eat to live life. So your grams for your sodium, 2,300. Your grams for your sugar, 26 grams for women, 37 grams for men. That's the top. But we know we go over that. So we have to make sure we stay below the level so that we can eat to live life and God can use us and be pleased. Because he says in 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether you eat or whether you drink or whatever you do, glorify God. Let those things we do with our hands, our mouth, our feet, let those things glorify God. And for that, he will be pleased. So I am Mr. Bellamy, Temple Health, Eating to Live Life. And I hope and pray I look to see you on the next flip. All right, so make sure you get your notebook ready, okay? Family, this is Mrs. Bellamy here to talk about and encourage you to eat to live life. Now, before we get started, be sure to get your notebook, okay? Because it's going to be real full, and I want you to miss a step, okay? So go ahead and give your notebook and your pen, your pencil, put everything on silent so that you can really concentrate and hear all the things I'm going to share. All right? All right. All right, you all ready? Okay, very well. So we're going to start with first things first. Eating to live life, as you can see these behind me, huge, huge, huge combative to operate in your body. And when I say combative, that means your white blood cells, your red blood cells have the equipment by eating these things to fight the things that come across you. That means all the diseases, all the disorders, all the episodes that you have in your body, they will do just that and take care of the things in your temple. And I think it's important that we learn more about these. The green broccoli and the kale and the Brussels sprouts, those things have huge, huge vitamins. They are like 1,000 milligrams of vitamins, yes. And when you boil them and steam them, however you want to do it, you want to eat them as they are. Just a little seasoning, you don't need a lot, you know, because they have their own flavor. And those things will help combat a lot of the things you have. And you can even revert, undo the diseases that you have. And you can stop taking these medications because every time you go to the doctor and they reevaluate you, this is what they're going to give you. Or take 2 of these. The milligrams of this, milligrams of that. They're going to give this to you. Or you're going to end up having these here like Miss Missy, having a bunch of these. Because we don't eat to live life. And it's just not just the eating part, fam. It's a whole total package. Your emotional, your social, your psychological, your mental, your dental, very, very important. As I shared with you all earlier, the dental, the mental, the psychological, the mental, the behavior, the emotional, all those things cause weight on your body, weight on your cells, your molecules, your vessels, your veins. Your organs are fighting like crazy when we go overboard. So even as I said earlier, with the sugar that we eat, the sugar that we eat should be natural. So you have natural sugars in fruits and vegetables. Yes, even sweet potatoes got their own sweets. You have to pour a whole bunch of, pour all that stuff in there. You just shrinking everything. And when I say shrink, that means your brain. Your brain shrinks more and more. It's a slow process. And that's what causes a lot of the time dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all those mental debilitating disorders. And when you do that, your cupcakes and your muffins and all the sugar stuff, when it's the holiday, then so we would really go overboard. And that has a tendency to just shrink your brain a little bit slowly. And your brain won't operate the right way. And all the cells and all the chemicals, the norepinephrine, the dopamine, the serotonin, all those things are getting all confused and they won't operate like they should. And so by doing those things that are detrimental, then you cause those medications to increase. If they don't give you more medication, they'll give you an increase of the same medication or introduce you to some different things that your body don't need to have. Because when you look at the side effects of those things, it has 15 to 20. You're taking it for one thing, but it has 15 other side effects: dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, not drive when you having this medication, and a host of other things that continue. So you're doing these medications for years and years and years, it tears down your body. But when we begin to eat the foods that God gives us, that grows from the earth, those help combat your body and fight off those things, those infections, the viruses, the coronavirus, the flu, the cold, and all the other ones. But you also can impact the rest of your body by doing these too as well. I have the vitamins. The vitamin C, the highest you can do is a vitamin C really is 2,000 milligrams. And then you got your zinc, you got your vitamin D3, You got your vitamin A, your elderberry, oregano. Taking these medications, taking these types of multiple supplements, vitamins, those are so powerful, believe it or not. And then counter it with the foods that have the vitamin C, the vitamin A, the greens. The beans also are huge. The greens are huge, huge, huge. They are huge to combat the things in your body. So these beans, whether you get the dry version is absolutely much better. Because when you look at these have other chemicals to preserve it. And most of the time, the sodium always gets us. The sodium is what gets you, because 2,300 milligrams is a lot. But when we keep eating other stuff and eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between, like I said on the other video, that's when we go overboard. If you go into a particular restaurant, if it's Chinese food or if it's steaks and things like that, then it's already gonna be 800 milligrams, and then the sauce you put on it. So then you have your cows, you have your beef, you have your chicken, and those things they feed these animals with such disrespect. They have them in confined spaces like they're prisoners. And with that, they also give them foods that help beef them up. This right here will give you a little example. This chicken has been outside in fresh grass and sunshine and scrapping and scratching like they supposed to. And this tends to get to this side 5 to 6 days. This chicken over here, they don't go outside. They don't get any exercise. The only sunlight they see is when they are outside going to the supermarket. See how big they are. This is probably the ones that we like to eat. But that's the most unhealthy chicken. They're so bogged down. That includes the beef, that includes the pork, that includes the animals that own commercial farms. They're so unhealthy. They can barely move because of the foods that they're giving them and the ingredients that they put in the foods that they eat, which is corn-based. It incorporates them to be unhealthy. They can barely walk because the food that they eat is feast of the fast. This feast of fast of the time for them to build. When they're supposed to take a certain amount of time, they want to get back in and out on the supermarket line and into our bellies. And then we get sick because we ate what they ate. And we didn't realize, well, I gotta have my chicken. I gotta have my protein. Well, it's protein in beans, believe it or not. It's protein in peas. It's protein in berries. You don't have to eat the protein from beef, chicken, pork, fish. Yes, they taste absolutely great, especially during holiday. But at the same time, flip side, all this is in suffering. It suffers. And this is such a huge, huge, huge impact. And it absorbs everything. It's like a sponge. And we have to take care of it as we nurture. So anytime you start having the headaches, then you drink enough water. You have to drink enough water. And when I say enough, half your body weight is how much you're supposed to drink. If you want to spruce it up a little bit, slice up some cucumbers, slice up some kiwi, slice up some celery, and that'll help boost up your water intake and fill those vessels like they're supposed to. Because you want to have a healthy body. Nobody want to be bound. No one wants to be bound. You're a prisoner of your own foods. Your foods keep keeping you bound because the foods the way they taste. Yes, it tastes good. Almost fought somebody with a piece of cake. Almost fought somebody with a piece of cake. And it dawned on me 2 years later. I shouldn't have had that mindset. I had last piece and they saw it and they was going to eat it. Actually, they did eat it. And when I found out, I was about to fight this person. Roll my sleeves up. You ate my piece of cake. Now, girl, what's going on with that? Food has power over you, and it's not supposed to be that way. Medicine has power over you, but it don't have to be that way. The foods we all eat that has power over, because God is all powerful. He has the ability to reverse things. Yes, we want to continue to pray and praise God, because He is the ultimate one who gives us power over the enemy, power over things that have tried to take over us. But if we don't come back to things that are trying to us out with the food He's given us, this is going to be a long uphill battle. Long. So even not just the foods, even some of the things we put on our arms. When you look at your ingredients of your, and I know sometimes we kind of cut off for us, we got to get some deal so we're not having everybody run away from us like we a skunk. We have to eat the right things as well as put the right things on our skin. When you look carefully at your ingredients of your deodorant, with some solid or the spray or the one you dip your finger in and put on your finger under your arm, that's aluminum. Look at it. There's aluminum. And I know people think, well, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to spend on all these, biodegradable and organic stuff. And how much is it going to cost? How much is it going to cost for you to have all these things that the doctor's going to give you? It's going to cost some money. It's going to cost some money. It's going to cost you so much. Your insurance is going to be so much. You got the rest. I shared with you before, and retired surgical technologist, and I've seen so many surgeries, and having to wear a mask for a long period of time and changing out, it was just really detrimental, really hurting to see the same patient coming in for a different thing, or working on all parts of the body. Now, ma'am, okay. I didn't say that to her. That is my observation. But the fact is, seeing her, or seeing the rest of them that came in kind of frequent, whether it was for dental surgery, they had their stomach tucked and things like that, and making your body work harder than it should. It's just like those chickens. Those chickens had asthma. The ones who eating the foods that were not healthy. Call them GMOs, genetic modified organisms, lab food. And when they eat them lab food, you eat the lab food when you eat it. Let me get an extra piece of chicken right there, the extra leg, the extra quarter. If you was to get on a 50-day challenge, which I'm going on at the end of this video, if you was to get on a 50-day challenge, I guarantee you, not only will you feel better, your skin will look better, you'll feel 100% better, you'll be thinking, and you won't need no clog, won't need no cloud, no anything over you. You also lose the weight and gain confidence. You'll maintain the weight, but it is a mindset. You can't just do the 50-day challenge and then go back to your old weight, because that weight and that stress going to come right back on you. It's going to come back on you. So you want to change from this to the 50. And you got to exercise too. That is also another way to combat your body with the diseases and disorders that you carry. None of them should ever go to the grave with these diseases. That should be a challenge for you to not pass away from the diseases and disorders you have. I challenge you, Emily, to try God's way. Is it going to cost some money? Absolutely. Because guess what? How much it's going to cost you? It's going to be priceless. And you'll be so absolutely great and satisfied at the end result. Because believe it or not, at the time we have in this world is so limited, and we waste so much time doing those things. Eating fast, quick. And it's gonna cost you. Believe it or not, if you go 4 times in a week, you've already spent like $8 or more. At the end of the month, $300, $400. At the end of the year, $36,000 to $4,000. 2 years is $42,000 or $48,000 you have used in fast foods and it benefits you none. And one of the top reasons to eat these types of fast foods, even the oatmeal for your breakfast, one of the top reasons to eat these types of foods is because it helps push out any lingering foods that were in your body and help maintain lubrication in your body, lubrication in your bowels. And so where this comes in, this is your small intestine, large intestine. Okay? And when we eat the foods that grow in a God's garden, it helps push all that stuff out. And then there's no lingering. There's no buildup of fecal material left in and just eating and rotting away. That's what colon cancer comes in, intestinal cancer, stomach cancer, all yeah. So it sits right on top. This is your stomach. It sits right on top. Come down with your esophagus, and you already have acid in there. And that's what I was telling you earlier in another video. The other video share about the foods we eat and process. You got like 3 layers here of your stomach. And you can see on the inside, there's a lot of juice here. And when we eat the wrong type of food, they get stuck here. They don't move out, they don't push, they're supposed to. But when you don't eat fibrous foods, the greens, beans, mushrooms, berries, onions, seeds, and nuts, when you don't eat those types of foods, it just sits there. Now, again, as I'm tired of technology, and we've done a lot of these EVs and colonoscopies, and we've done those, and people have to take this type of material in order to get it down. It's called Miralax. The right way. Your body will be in tip-top condition. So when we eat those hamburgers and French fries all the time, sugary stuff, we give to the children because it's quick, fast, give them, go ahead, here. And then there's a problem. Now they are a victim and they have to go to the doctor. And guess who has to take the needle? But your stomach is 80% of your immune system. If this ain't taken care of the right way, it's going to mess up everything else. All your organs will suffer. You believe it or not, they suffer. When you do these types of surgeries, we found polyp. Might be malignant, might not be, maybe cancers, may not be, but we see something. And that's the foods that we've been eating. They're not good. Yes, these cereals are good, but again, you have to learn, as I said, looking at this here. This will tell you what's the ingredient in these things. Your sodium, your sugars, the salts, cholesterol. When you get to the end, because a lot of cereals have them, it says contain bioengineered chemical ingredient. And why do you put that in meat? We be trying to be healthy, we see a healthy cereal, and you pay attention to that. I don't know how many times I've been back to the store, like, I need to take this back because I cannot eat this. It has an ingredient. Because again, if I'm gonna go back to those medications, I might have to end up getting. And we want to eat to live life. We want to have emotional, stable, everything kind of calm down. Because all that thing overworks the entire body. Every time you start stressing, it affects everything here. Nobody wants to be kidney dialysis. Nobody wants that. You have to get a lung transplant. These are important. Nobody wants to have bad cancer. Nobody wants that. The skin cancer. You get the problem stuff on your skin. And you still have to be careful what that is. And even more so, your liver vital. You don't mess with this. This does so much for the body and pulls a lot of the waste and trash out along the pancreas, kidneys, the stomach, as well as, submit to all those things in this class. All those things are trash compactors and remove all that trash that is left in the body. But when you begin to really have a mindset, I'm going to do this for the Lord because He's given me another chance. This is not our temple. He's given this on loan. When someone gives you something to hold on, listen, can you hold this for a minute? Or can you hold this until I get back? We want to take care of whatever that is that they have encouraged us to take care of. They have entrusted us to take care of this. So God is entrusting you to take care of this temple. So that's why the temple steward comes in play. You are a temple for God. And He wants you to be the best temple steward ever. And He does not want us to have these adults going back into the ER, urgent care, doctor's care. Now, I will tell you a little story about Miss Missy. I was always in the ER. I got these 50 a year. 50 a year, I would get these. They would see me clockwork. I want my room. I want my warm blanket, and where's my toy dog and my popsicle? Okay, let's just go ahead and get that ready because you know what I'm looking for. And when I was going to get these mental breaks that was struggling to have so much stuff going on in the house and so much stuff going on at work, it was a lot to juggle, I would have found comfort in the ER. And when I drive out now, I get disgusted that I was comfortable with that. And that's how I feel when I look at food that's unhealthy. I get disgusted because those food do not bring any kind of happiness, any type of glory to this temple. And what we have learned as my whole family, we learn to be combative eaters. We eat to live life. The foods we eat combat the things in our body, help keep things refreshed and refined. And when you learn to do that mentally, then everything else is a smooth transition. Nobody wants to keep taking your child or your children to allergy or to the derm doctor or to this doctor and that doctor, all these different doctors. The copay, again, as I said earlier in the other video, all those things add up. That's a lot of money. Copays are getting high. We have to keep putting out. Where we gonna get the money at? If you don't have the money now, you have to, pay a little here, pay a little there, because of those things. Somebody got to get another job. Somebody gonna have to do something to bring in some extra income, because now the child and the mama or the child or the children and the whole family have this disease disorder, or they always say, we do history check. Let's do a history check. And the history is like, well, because mom and daddy or your grandma and granddaddy had it, you probably would have it. No, I don't receive that. My God has entrusted me to take care of this temple, and that's what I'm going to do. I might mess up on a few things, but this here, because I can control what goes in my mouth, just like you can control what goes in your mouth. I know people are going to have something to say about it. It's always a teaser. Family, friends, and fellowship is always going to be the one who combats you. Well, you start eating like this, God gave me a second chance. I'm trusting Him with the foods He gave me to eat. You can eat what you want, but this temple will set God in the foods, because 1 Corinthians 10:31 is, whether you eat or whether you drink, whatever you do it to glorify God. So if the foods and drinks you're eating don't glorify God, it's okay to walk away. Or as I do, me and my babies, we make our own lunch. When we go in public places, we bring our own lunch. We eat before we get there. So it's no issues. We don't have to, well, I know to pick. I know. Because if I don't know what's in it, then I don't want to having that in my body. And I start to feel a certain way, belly, whatever the case be. But having that mindset, that's why I have to start in mind. It has to start in mind. Because if you can go to any place that you want to go to, whether it's family, friends, co-workers, and you already have a sound mind, then that's the one tempt you. Because the smells, olfactory memory, the smells and see. That's how they do advertisements for all the different McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's. They banking on memorizing that smell and where you were when you ate that fry or you ate that burger or whatever it could be. They're basing. That's how they do advertising. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. You might not be so excited when you see like a bunch of, like I get excited when I see radishes and onions, like, oh, my favorites. Because I know it's going to do a great thing in my body. But when I see McDonald's, Burger King, you know, they got some salads and things like that, but what's the lettuce? The lettuce come from? Is it organic? Is it commercial? When I go to the grocery store, I'm looking for organic. They said, what's a lot of money? Well, as I said, I explained and shared with you, there's a lot of money to deal with fast food and also drive-thrus as well as curbside service. And we all like to eat, but I'm eating to live life. And I'm doing my best even with emotional calmness because that also combats a lot of things in your body in a bad way. And so for even with women and men, the lymphatic system is so jumped up with stuff left the transit why those organs are called earlier. It comes out of your skin. And so one of the best ways I've learned in this journey is to get one of these lymphatic brushes. Now you can get it from, you know, Walmart, you can get it from a Bed Bath & Beyond store. And I get through with one that's dry and one that's wet. And you start at the bottom of your feet all the way up to your sides and all the areas, and you end it right over your heart. So you brush it up. You bring it here, you brush it here, you bring it here. Everything that you brush it upward stroke. Then you get in the shower and you take your shower. And you pat yourself down. So believe it or not, it helps to remove a lot of the junk you can't see, but it's there. And when you do it repeatedly, you reduce a lot of information, a lot. And information is going to cost you more than you really want to pay. Co-pays, insurance, and things like that. I'm like, oh, I just go get a stent. Well, listen, the heart is a muscle. And we want to make sure we take care again. This is part of the temple. We want to make sure we take care of the thing. Inside is 4 chambers. And it's important the bowels open and close, and release what it needs to release. But we don't eat the right foods. They don't operate the same way. Now you got to get a stent. You got to get a shot. You got to get a procedure. You got to get a pacemaker. Again, all that's money. That's from the pockets. Take care of this vessel. Take care of this temple. It's so important that we do so. Very important. So even with that, as I shared, when I was a surgical technologist in these surgeries, this is where a lot of people get their cancer at. This is the end of the colon, because it's left trash in the intestines, in the large intestines. And so even though they give you Miralax to wash yourself out and things like that, there's tips on how to do it. And as I showed you with the oatmeal and eating a healthy salad, now the salad could be as big as a regular plate. And you want to put it in a bowl, that's fine. And the best way to eat those things, again, these are better foods. Put all the fruits and vegetables in there, and the dressing will be, easy vinaigrette. You don't need $1,000 dressing and blue cheese and ranch and all those. Because when you look at the Eden's family, I'm saying it has so much in it, so much. I like eggs too and things like that, but you can minimize all those things because, again, back to the animals that I shared with you, those things have so much stuff in there that's unhealthy. The conventional commercial farms, they have their responsibility, but they also borrow back money from other places. And so they have to make sure they get them. And then you have the organic farms, and they have their things to feed their animals. They bring grass. and having the water and they get the sunshine. So just like this Fitbit is supposed to be for when you go outside and you do your walks, you're doing your walks, you're drinking your water. That's what the animals on the organic farm do. But the ones that the conventional, they don't see the sunlight. They don't eat any grass at all. They eat the corn products. Just like we eat corn products. The ingredients, sometimes, and when you look carefully, it has this in it. Roundup from different companies, but the chemical in it is called glyphosate. Glyphosate. And that's what they put in cereals and dry products. You would think that, look, okay, it's a healthy food. Again, I'm gonna keep going. This is so important that we get this. Look at your ingredients, what's in it. It takes much time, it's messy. You had nothing but time. You don't waste it on getting in a hurry of getting something quick. The children need something, they give them some sugary food. No, because that's gonna cause their brain, that's gonna cause their body. Their stomach is gonna get aggravated because the stomach is not meant to have those sugary foods. If you go back in the Bible days, the food they ate was from the earth. And as time went on, you're gonna add things, and hey, we can eat this. But the things were from the earth. As time went on, they start stripping the medicinal part of it and then break off. That's where the medicines take the name on it. That's where they came from. They come from the earth, but they stripped away the medicine part of it, the medicinal part of it, and added other stuff in it. That's why it has so many side effects. If you eat the actual vegetable or fruit or the herb that it came from without stripping, then it would have the same side effect. But yes, you look at your ingredients on your vitamins, on your medicine, that's your name on it. Yeah, it does a part of, if it's, drying up your mucus. What's the side effect? You feel like you're in a Sahara desert, you feel so dry. It does part, but it also leaves residue. But when you eat guys garden food, there's no type of residue like that. I mean, you eat onion, you eat too many things or something is not good. So you have to have balance. But if you have a medication as your name on it, comes from the earth. It gets stripped away like a banana and give you what you want to have. It does a job, but at the same time, not good. Yes, I know. Listen, I used to be on a lot of medication. That's why I was always in the ER. I'm ready for my fix. Need my fix. And when I went to the ER last time, our doctor said, after I shared all the things that was on my heart and things, he said, we're not going to treat you. What kind of ER is this? I'm ER queen, don't you know that? It must be an email or something. I don't know. But I'm like, I'm supposed to get my fix, my pronoun, my this, that, other, my warm blanket, my room with lights off. I got 4 hours of sleep. But what you need to do is go outside and get some fresh air and walk for 10 minutes. What's your name? I'm going to report you, doctor. How you not gonna treat me? But he meant that. And I left without any medication. So I thought that was going to be the last time. And it was an episode before, after that. And I had shared this with my apostle. And my apostle said, now what's going on with this system? Like such and such, same thing. I'm having these things like going on. It will always happen clockwork every Saturday, Sunday night. Like it was like clockwork. Like this thing was kind of come over me like that. And what I was having was a panic attack. I was having anxiety attacks. I couldn't identify what it was. I just know I was having it like, all right, time to check in, it's time to go. All right, I'm about to go. Go ahead at the intercessors. No, I'm about to clockwork. And when I said to my apostle, and he shared me, like, that's an expensive break. Oh my goodness. At that moment was a second encounter of going to the ER was a fix. Like you have the drug addicts that have a fix. You have people who eat for their fix. Mine were ER visits. Now I have caused such a dishonor to the Lord and to heaven, to my family, my friends, the intercessors, because I thought that was what was okay. But God has given us these temples as temporary. We have to be the best stewards because there's so much He has for you. And it's hard for them to release it because you won't trust Him in the areas that are dark. I get people enjoy eating, but eating is not entertainment. It's for repairing. That's what you should be eating, is to repair, replenish, revive, restart, rejuvenate the body. These foods have a lot of power in them. That's what we're supposed to be eating to rejuvenate our bodies. You don't want to be victims. You want to be victims. We want to be victors in Christ Jesus. There's many things in kingdom that is for you to do, but it's hard to do if we are always in prison. Food is for repairing, combating. It's not to be used for entertainment. I get it, it's good. Sister so-and-so makes the best, sister so-and-so, all the good stuff. But to really be honest, those foods are detrimental to our life. That's what we have to learn to eat to live life. Emotional and social and mental and dental all have to be regulated. As I shared earlier, your teeth suffer the most. They suffer the most. They suffer the most. Because you see all these holes? These are cavities. This is what your intestines look like when you don't do the flushing, the fiber tubes. Yes, colon cancer, cancers, obesity, heart disease, they're on the rise. Whether you had a shot or you didn't have a shot, they're on the rise. And when you have had an episode with COVID or flu or whatever the things, your diseases make it that much easier for you to be combating much more. Where you used to take your medication, now you got to be in the hospital. That's how it is. That God does not want you to be in the hospital. We have to be no longer victims, but victors in Christ Jesus. In order to do that, we have to eat to live life. Remember, temples are on borrowed. And when we close our eyes for the last time, we want him to say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. You may enter in. But we got to do it here in our mind. These foods are healthy. Yes, people gonna call, they're gonna talk, they join you, they're gonna, hey. Are you with your body fat? Are you at a healthy weight? Before you start picking and poking fingers, be careful. Because you might be the one, I might be the one to call to pray for, because now you're back in the hospital. So from the lymphatic breast I shared to the deodorant we should watch for, again, the aluminum foil. The ingredients in aluminum foil is in a lot of the things that you put in your body. And yeah, even the salts. Salts is 2,300 milligrams. That's what you're supposed to have. But who's going to look at all those numbers? No one. But if you know what you're supposed to eat, it makes it much easier. and keep from coming inside of the doctor's office. When you go to the gas station and you know your car goes 87, you wouldn't put a 93 in there, would you? No. You wouldn't put it in there because this kind of car most likely will be a 93. This car needs 90. But if you have a low rider or just a regular car, you probably need like an 87, 89. Nice car. So you got to get some on the right stuff. Get some on the right stuff, it pleases the Lord, and He will reverse those things that combat your body. You want to make sure you drink your waters, you do your exercising, you get your sleep, because that's another way to repair the body is good sleep. 6 or 7 hours plus, great. Your body has to have time to repair itself. Your waters, even though it's better to drink, let that be your only source of fluids. I know we like to have sweet sugar and soda and iron carbonated things like that, but even the juices, you got to be careful with that. As I've been told by Dr. J, it's better to eat the fruit, not drink it, because all the nutrition is in it. See, when they start peeling all the vegetables or whatever type of smoothie that you're going to eat or drink, they take away the medicinal part. So it's better to eat with the skin because the skin is all the nutrition. Of course, the meat of the apple is great, but nutrition is in the skin of it. So we want to make sure we eat right. We want to drink right. We want to laugh. That's another fact the Bible says. A cheerful heart is the best medicine. So how many times you laugh today? Did you laugh today? You intentionally laugh. Because that's another medicine. Sleep is a medicine. Food is a medicine. Balance. All balance. Don't spend your money no more on fast foods. Foods that bring detriment to your body. You want to eat the foods and buy the foods in front. You can make your own garden table. Yeah. Juice some seasons, some carrots, and some cucumbers, and some peppers, and watermelon, different things that are healthy and eat those. Now, don't go and get the food in there and the food in there. That's just that way it's good flavor. If you ask me to put it in there, I would suggest getting turkey bones. Put it in there for flavor. Or bone broth. That's good for give it as the pot liquor, as I'm told. Those kind of things help build up body. And eating every day. Condition your mind by conditioning your body. God, absolutely please. We gotta do those too now. Gotta drink the juice, 100% juice. If you're gonna drink them, look at the ingredients. Again, I'm telling you, fam, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. These ingredients are huge. And when you learn to look at it and study it and know what to look for, you'll be all right. You'll be great. And it'll please the Lord and your family. Well, what you doing? You're looking, you're glowing, you got the things going on. I'm eating their life. Ask Miss Bellamy to talk to me, teach me, and she can teach you too. And she can teach you. Your whole family can be rid of those diseases that they don't have to pass down from generation to generation. We don't want generation curses. We want generation of blessings. And so we eat and grow as God has for us to do. To please Him, and the generations behind you will be pleased. So I just thank you for this kind of opportunity to just sit and soak all the things that I'm sharing and much more. As I said, the 50-day challenge is going to be awesome. So get back with me. My web is https://feedme.godaddysites.com. And you can check me out also on Alignable and LinkedIn. And I hope to see you, and I pray that you stay encouraged. Be blessed and blessed. Remember, God loves you and He wants you the best ever to have.
Hi, I am B. Jackal Jeter, and I am here with Tarsha Calhoun, who is a part of SuccessFest. Tarsha, it's been said that success leaves clues. So, knowing that, how about you tell me what's been your biggest obstacle to overcome in this journey of yours?
Wow, thank you, Ms. Jada. My biggest obstacle that I've had to overcome has been letting go of the pain, the shame, the guilt, and the anger, and accepting my worthiness.
Okay, so how does that help you make the world a better place or serve your audience?
It helps because during that time, and the time I'm speaking about is when I separated and now divorced, I did not see past the pain, nor did I see past the hurt that was going on at the time. So I needed someone to be a beacon of light for me. So it helps because now I am able to be that beacon of light for other women who are going through similar, divorces can be different, but that sometimes you just can't see past the pain and the hurt, and you need someone to be a beacon of light for you and give you practical tools to move forward, to get up and move forward and embrace the new life on the other side.
That's awesome, Tarsha. That is really awesome because I know a lot of people need you. So how do you help others become that? You said that you help them, but in what ways do you do that?
I help them with my proven eight-step sis get up system. It's a system that I use during that time to get up because, oftentimes we have moments when we don't feel like getting up. So using those moments to be your springboard to get up again and to step into being the CEO of your life, health, and business, getting back into the driver's seat.
So when someone comes back to you and says, Tarsha, your program has changed my life, what do they usually say? And how does it make you feel?
Oh, overjoyed. That happens. I'll say a patient because my background is in nursing. So a client I worked with in 2016, her and I touched bases just about 2 weeks ago. So her and I worked together in 2016, and it just did my soul all the good. I was overjoyed to hear that some of the same tools and principles, the practical tools and some of the things that we worked on, she is still implementing that into her everyday life. She has went on to lose weight. She is doing good, looking good. And so it just makes me feel great. It really humbles me and let me know that this work is needed and that it's not in vain.
That's awesome, Tarsha. And it feels good for someone to come back and tell you that so you know that you are continuing to have impact. Yes. So one last question. What is your biggest hope for those that you're called to serve?
My biggest hope is that these women will know that they are whole, that they're worthy, that they are healing, that they are one woman, that they are loved, extraordinary, and can co-create the life that they deserve. That is my biggest hope for them, to always know that they are enough and everything that they need is on the inside of them.
That's really powerful. I want to thank you, Tarsha, for sharing this time with me real quickly. And I wish you all the success in the world. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Are you having a hard time letting go? Do you feel like your whole life is falling apart? Everything you once relied upon is gone. You don't know you don't know how to get up for your next day. You find yourself crying to the point to where you have no more tears left to cry. Daily, you find yourself lying on the floor in a fetal position, fighting for your life, screaming and praying for the pain to stop. You don't know, you need to get up, but you don't know how to get up. You present to the world as this class A woman who has life all figured out, but secretly you're suffering in silence. If only the pain would stop long enough for you to catch a breath, to breathe, you could possibly get your life back on track. The day you said I do, you never saw this day coming. The day I said I do, sickness for health, riches and poor, never did you think you would be separated or divorced, or at least I know I didn't. Regardless of the ups and downs in the marriage, regardless if the marriage was toxic or not, that was not the plan on the day you said I do. But guess what, sis? It's over. That ship has sailed. It is time to get up and do the work. I come to ask you a serious question. And that question is, are you ready? Are you ready to get up? Hi, my name is Tarsha Calhoun, your Get Up Sis strategist. I am whole, but I have a confession to make. I haven't always been this bold, bodacious woman that you see before you, a whole woman. There was a time when the pain was excruciating. I didn't know how I was going to make it throughout the day. The day that I decided to do something different is the day when I gave God permission to not wake me up the next morning. I had kissed my kids goodnight as I normally do, and the tears started rolling down my face as I was walking to my room. I couldn't keep it all together. And I remember sitting on the side of a king-size bed, and I just wanted the pain to stop. Now, see, I wasn't suicidal by no means, but I said, God, it's okay if you see fit not to wake me up in the morning. But something happened between those words going out my mouth, landing on my ears, because before my head touched the pillow, I sprung forward, speaking life. I began to speak life over my body. I began to speak life over my mind. I began to speak life into my finances, over my children. And that was the start of the sis get up moment. Can you relate? If you can relate, put in the chat. I can relate. I can relate. Sis, get up. Sis, get up. You see, oftentimes the pain can get so bad to where we feel that the only way out is to not get up the next morning or to numb the pain with drugs or sex or alcohol or food. But that's not it. I come to let you know that there is life beyond divorce. You see, divorce is only the end if you choose. It's all about perception. I know for me and many other women, divorce was the beginning of something new. I love the life that I'm creating now. And as a result of being able to be that beacon of light for others, I want to be the beacon of light for you as the coach was for me during my time. You see, when speaking life over me, it woke up my hopes and dreams and the woman I once was, the woman I desired to become so badly. I am her now. Sis, it is time to get up and do the work. Repeat after me. I am whole. I am worthy. I am healing. I am one woman. I am living life consciously. I am extraordinary. Everything I need is inside of me. I am enough. There is no time like now to get up. Now stand up. Take a deep breath in. Now exhale slowly and say, will the real me please get up? Sis, you can get up. I'm here to help you. We have work to do. Let's connect. Text the words get up to 214-833-7012. I have a gift for you. And that gift is healing and purpose after divorce. God, thank you. Remember, life is to be lived on purpose, for purpose, with purpose. Sis, it's time to get up. We have work to do. Hi, do you find yourself doing the same routine day after day, wishing, hoping, and praying for a better life? But you're too busy to create that life you desire to live. Welcome to 3 steps to stop living your life on autopilot. So by the end of this training, by the end of the 3 steps to stop living your life on autopilot training, you will know what it means to live on autopilot. Identify when you're living on autopilot. Know the 3 key steps to make to stop living on autopilot in order to take control of your life, your health, and business. And also, at the end, I have a gift for you. And I would like to extend the invitation to become a member of the Starting Point Club. So if you're wondering who this training is for, if you're in the right place at the right time, well, guess what? You are in the right place at the right time. If you're a separated or a divorced woman and you feel stuck in your life, you feel like you're just existing, going through the motions to get through another day, you continue to wish and hope and pray for a better life, but you don't know how, you don't know where to start, or you don't think you can have a better life. If your attitude is one of, I'm over it, the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, you're in the right place. If you're ready to move forward in life, and if you're ready to start living a life and falling in love with the life that you have created, falling in love with you again, you're in the right place. You know, Albert Einstein said, there are 2 ways to live. So we have a choice in the matter. You can live as if nothing is a miracle, or you can live as if everything is a miracle. You decide. Do you choose to live as if nothing is a miracle? That's living your life on autopilot. Or do you choose to live as if everything is a miracle? That's living your life with intention, living consciously. So I have a quick video I want to show you. So what did you notice in that short clip? Did you notice how in the beginning, the black creature or the monster was very small in size? And as the guy who represent you, me, all of us, and many of us at one point in time of my life, of our lives, the routine, as the guy continued to with the same routine, not giving any thought to his day, the late nights, the long hours, the smoking, the binge eating, the drinking, all of this stuff just to get through the day, the sleeping in, the snoozing. The monster, or death, if you will, begin to grow. To the point to where it started doing the things for him. That represents our routine. So it represents when our routine conquers our lives and everything becomes automated. We continue to do the same things without even thinking about it or questioning it. We stop looking for what really makes us happen. The doom and gloom sets in. You may become depressed. This is during this time. Did you see when the guy faced the monster? And at that time, it represented to me, hey, I want to do something different, but didn't know how because he just turned and continued with the day as normal. So my question to you is, are you living life on autopilot? Because what's really sad is that oftentimes we don't know that we're living our life on autopilot, especially when it comes to doing something that has to be done daily, going to work, running your business, taking care of kids, dropping them off at school. There's so many things in our lives that we do that becomes a routine to where we don't even realize the routine has taken over us. We stop living our life. We wish for more, but we don't go after the more. We don't live with zest and intent. But that's going to change today as a result of this training. After this training, living your life on autopilot would no longer be your story. Stop the video again. So you may be wondering, who is this woman talking to me? My name is Tarsha Calhoun. I'm your sis get up strategist, and I have a confession to make. See, I haven't always been a whole woman. I haven't always been a woman who lived life consciously, who paid attention. At some point in time in my life, a few years ago, I began to live life on autopilot. I didn't feel worthy. I had started the healing journey. I was showing up in different women's and silos of who I am. In some spaces, I showed up as the nurse. In some spaces, I showed up as a mother. In some spaces, I showed up as a businesswoman, a career woman, just all kind of woman of faith. Everything was in silo. I wasn't living life consciously. As I stated, I was living life on autopilot. I didn't even realize that I was on autopilot. I didn't feel extraordinary. Honestly, I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel like I was enough, despite the accolades, my degrees, certifications, and all my accomplishments in life. Still didn't feel good enough. Can you relate? You know, everything that took place that led up to my separation and now divorce caused the fire that once burned inside to burn down. The fire began to starve for oxygen. Every argument, every negative word, every night that I went to bed mad felt like gallons of water being poured, dumped, not really poured, but just dumped onto my fire. To the point I felt like I was drowning with no life jacket, and I swim like a rock. But that was the final straw. This particular bucket of water caught me off guard. I wanted the divorce. I was so mad I made a decision. And at that moment, I thought I had made the right decision because the freedom that came with it. But the next day, it felt like a ton of bricks. I started to question, did I make the right decision? Maybe I should have stayed in that life, that routine, living life on autopilot a little bit longer because I was familiar with that. Because now the rug had been ripped from under me and the life I once known, it was gone. But it wasn't until the day the pain was so excruciating and I sat on the edge of my king size bed after giving my children a good night kiss and telling them I'll see you in the morning. I gave God permission to not wake me up the next morning. You see, I wasn't suicidal. I just wanted the pain to end. I was okay if God did not see fit to wake me up the next morning. But something happened between those words leaving my mouth, my head lying on the pillow, and those words falling upon my ears. Because before my head could touch the pillow, I sprung forward and I began to speak life over me. I began to speak life over my children. I began to speak life into my finances, to my health, into my mind, over my body. I began to speak so much life to when I realized it, I was standing up. And guess what? That was the start of the Sis Get Up movement. Les Brown said it best. If you can look up, you can get up. The next morning, I woke up full of energy. So I did the first thing that I thought to do, that many of us do, and that is run out for retail therapy. I wanted the outside to look as good as I felt on the inside. But guess what? I funded this retail therapy with my credit card. Although it felt good for the moment, that night, it didn't feel so good because I realized I had added debt. And I was already drowning in debt. So I felt miserably. I'm sorry, with these slides here. There we go. I felt miserably. The second thing I tried was journaling. And at the time, I didn't know how to journal. I didn't realize that I was just creating more havoc in my life by attempting to journal my thoughts and my feelings. Felt miserably. The third thing I tried, I hired a coach. This was the best thing. As a result of hiring a coach, although I was a coach, I couldn't coach myself through that time. I needed someone who would see me, hear me, not judge me, and help me navigate the pains and the woes and everything that came with being separated and divorced. And as a result, Ignite Her Wellness was born. Ignite Her Wellness is a company that is for the total woman, total transformation for the total woman. She's training and coaching and consulting. And as a result, you will get up because we have work to do. And see, now you see this woman who is before you as a whole woman. And I know the same can be for you. So let's jump into the 3 steps we need to stop living our life on autopilot. Because oftentimes, you know, when I think about this, we have a tendency when we're living our life on autopilot, we have a tendency to think that a situation is so bad that the only way out is to not wake up the next morning or numb the pain with pills and alcohol or sex or food. Have there ever been a time in your life when you felt like the pain was unbearable and you wanted to give up? Well, I'm here to tell you, don't give up. There is hope. And after this training, you will be standing up and excited to live the life that you desire. So let's talk a little bit about what it means to live on autopilot. Because as I stated before, most of the time we don't know it. We're just going through our routine. And as in that movie clip, that short clip, you notice how the monster grew into where the monster was larger than the man who represents so many above. And the monster started doing everything. That's exactly it. To act without thinking about what we're doing. Normally because we have done it so many times before. The ability to do something without really thinking about it. You're living your life on autopilot. If everyday routine becomes automatic, there's minimal cognitive effort. You're not putting any effort into the day. Oftentimes it's referred to as being zoned out. It's like walking zombies. We're just zombies going through our life. That is today. So what is the first step? The first step to stop living your life on autopilot and step into being the CEO of your life, your health, and business is to identify what matters to you. This is how you rid the people-pleasing syndrome. In order to identify, I want you to take some time, sit with yourself and ask, what matters to me? What are my core values? Because as you do this, what it's going to do is help you say no quicker, sooner, faster, because the things that are asked of you, if it doesn't matter to you, then automatically you will say no, to where your no's become more than your yes, and your yes are intentional yes, because it matters to you. So when you're not aware of your priority, it's easy. Right here. So when you're not aware of your priorities, it's easy to say yes to things because you don't know what matters to you. But when you identify and know what matters to you, again, you begin to live life consciously because you only say yes to the things that matters to you. Step 2, you want to break your daily routine by doing something different. Something different. It could be something so simple as driving a different way to work, or driving a different way to the store, or driving a different way home, taking a different route, and along the route, paying attention to the things that you see, the trees, the grass, the flowers, the people, just things in your surroundings. Or it could be something as simple as changing your hairstyle, wearing a different color, doing something different, seeking out something different to do. Maybe trying a new restaurant or going to a different place or just something different. So my challenge to you is to do something different at least twice a week. Now let's look at step 3. I found a step. Step 3 is connect with others. And as I stated in the beginning of this training, I would extend the invitation to become a part of the Starting Point Club. The Starting Point Club is a community of extraordinary women, uplifting, empowering each other to become the best version of themselves. It is one of the ways to stop living your life on autopilot. It's life-giving conversation, the training. You're instantly inspired to do the things that you desire to do. Not only that, when you connect with others, you want to make sure you're connected to the right people, people who energize you just being in their presence. It's always an experience. You leave wanting to do more, to be more. You leave full of energy. And not only that, when they're in your presence, have the same experience. They see you, they hear you. There's no judgment, there's no competition. It's only collaboration. We have that inside of the Starting Point Club. So the third step to stop living your life on autopilot is to connect with others. Now, if you want more information about the Starting Point Club, text GET UP to 214-833-7012. If you're stuck and you're not sure where to start, the Starting Point Club is where you start. Text GET UP to 214-833-7012. Now let's stay connected. I'll pause and give you a chance to take a picture of this slide. You can connect with me on Facebook at Tarsha Johnson Calhoun, on Instagram and LinkedIn, Tarsha Johnson, or send me an email, tarsha@igniteherwellness.com. And the last thing, I have a gift for you. I want to thank you for tuning into this training. And as a result, hopefully something has been said, the steps you will put into action to stop living your life on autopilot. My gift to you is a complimentary Sis Get Up Clarity Chat. Go to sisgetup.net to schedule your chat. Let's talk about it. And I have a second gift. At the end of our chat, I will gift you with my Healing and Purpose guide. Healing and Purpose After Divorce guide that gives you step-by-step how to move forward in life. And remember, life is to be lived on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. Sis, it's time to get up. We have work to do.
It has been an amazing first day of SuccessFest 2023. I hope you all have taken away something valuable and will carry it with you into tomorrow. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes focus, dedication, and hard work and your desired goals. Thank you for joining us today, and let's make sure to take full advantage of the opportunities that this event has provided. See you all tomorrow, same success place, same success time. Don't forget, say it, believe it, and do it. Good night, and have a great rest of your day. It's been my pleasure to serve as your host today, and I am Dr. Stephanie Wall, the Tower of Power. Woo! Fire! Boom, 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 boom.